Looks cozy there where you are.
Thank you. Welcome to my dining room. And it looks cozy where you are. Hi, everybody. It's your
Hi.
girl. It's Caroline and Wiebke.
Hi, Wiebke.
I know.
Hi.
Here we are. Hi, everybody. We're live. Hi. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We're here for another leadership interview. Today, we're joined by, well, I'm happy to be back, first of all. Thanks for having me. We've got Holly also backstage, executive producing this event. And we're joined by Bugatti's managing director for brand and lifestyle. Again, Wiebke, it's a pleasure to have you. Pleasure to see you.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me, Caroline.
Yeah, it's good to have you. So today we're talking about diversity, which is a pretty hot topic. I love that we are looking at global trends amongst us because it's so much more than what's happening in one place. It's a global movement.
Yes.
But specifically, you know, this authenticity word that I hear more and more. I think in our community, I think there's 25,000 of us in this women automotive network community.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
Didn't know, that's a lot. That's great.
Been growing pretty fast.
Yes.
What I find is that when we're introducing ourselves, you know, we have these beautiful titles and we have these responsibilities that are transparent in our titles, but I feel like what we're more interested in is like getting to know each other as people. So in the context of that, from the top here, tell me, how do you like to introduce yourselves outside of, you know, the box that you occupy in a brand?
The title, title is Managing Director of Bugatti Brand Lifestyle, which is the entity of brand expansion. But I would introduce myself in that role of helping expanding the Bugatti dream, expanding it into new categories, creating new experiences for customers and the aspirational world. And yes, for sure, creating business, right? But this is kind of this uniqueness of the brand, bringing this out to the world. This is the job is about, and this is my role, and I love what I do. So,
and then what about you as a human being in the context of not necessarily the box that you describe and operate in? What do you like to share about yourself when you get introduced to new gangs like us here?
Yeah, I mean, what I'm lucky to have that position. So it's a very creative job, and I'm kind of in that segment. It's a very business-driven, also analytic kind of position, but it's really versatile, and this also fits my character very well. So we are creating new categories, new products, and there's a lot of creativity, analytics, and for sure business development part, and a lot of strategy which comes in the beginning. So all this combined, I think, fits my character very well, because you have a lot of different facets to play with, and it's not really narrow. It's very broad. So this is really I think the combination of the both. Yeah,
that's nice. It goes beyond the box that we all sort of think about.
Yes,
when we see a title.
Is just a title, right? I mean,
but we place so much importance on the titles, and at the end of the day, describing the work that we do, and especially in your case with so much creativity, is really important, I think. So in your, you know, since we last spoke, so we were together in Stuttgart in
summer, right? September.
Yeah, in September for What Makes a Good Leader. And it was a panel. I don't know if anybody that's in the audience today was there, but I feel like we left a lot of unfinished business on that stage. We left a lot of topics a
lot to discuss.
Yes. Yeah. So since then, I think for you, there's been some shifts in your career. There's been, you know, some happenings. So why don't you brief us real quick on what's been happening since we last saw each other?
Well, the last year was a big one for everyone, let's say. What happened? So my background is the luxury industry. So that's where I come from. I've been working for the Richemont Group for over a decade, let's say. And I came into automotive more or less by accident, so that we can talk about that later, accidents and career jumps, let's say. So what we did in Bugatti is really creating that experience and broadening it over the last 6 years. And we had last year was the best year ever since the, let's say, inception of Bugatti International, which is in a way, yeah, it was a fantastic year. It was, I mean, Bugatti International is, it's because of the history. It's a company in the company, so with its own P&L. So it's like a very entrepreneurial setting. So the whole team thinks very entrepreneurial. And the last year was amazing. So I think we overachieved by 30% the budget. So it was amazing. But on top of that, the brand has shifted under the umbrella of Bugatti Rimac, with a headquarter in Zagreb, Croatia. And I just joined just in May the Bugatti Rimac group. So this is a big shift in terms of kind of company out of the big group to that new company, and reporting to Marta Rimac, who is the CEO of the brand, and a lovely leader. And we can talk about that later as well. So there's a big shift in terms of, let's say, changing the team. Most of the team will also join. So there's a big change at the moment. But on the other side, the business grows since years now. So it's a fantastic time at the moment. A lot of projects. Yes.
That sounds super exciting. Lots of changes. Same role though, right? Like same realm of responsibility.
It's the same role because I really enjoy what I do. So it's in that sense, it's it's the same function we're still with the brand, because I really like where we are at the moment, and I still see growth and learning in many facets in what we're doing. Let's say we just here, what you see behind me is our latest baby addition to the lifestyle universe. Let's say the Bugatti residence is in Dubai. So we just created this new business, and this is a render, but it's work in progress. So the whole team is more or less working on this, and there's a lot going on, and there's still a lot of learning. So it's a lovely brand anyway to work for and to stick to it.
Yeah, I'm super interested in, I mean, I just want to talk luxury, honestly. Let's just talk about that, customer experience in luxury. I imagine that you have a certain kind of clientele, that you attract them with a certain kind of messaging that's a little bit different.
Yes.
How you talked about the projects that you have, creativity, like how does a project like that, like the Bugatti house, how does that all come together across the different parts of communications with customers and things of that nature? Like what's the essence of how you connect with customer at that level of luxury?
Well, the brand has, let's say, the claim art form technique. So it's kind of the essence of the brand, it's a French luxury brand. So the headquarter is in Molsheim, in a lovely setting with the Bugatti Chateau and a very historical ground where Ettore Bugatti founded the company, and it's kind of the epitome of the brand, right? And if you go there as a customer, and only customers are allowed, they have a very unique experiences. This is the business of Bugatti Automobiles, which is the core of the brand, the car business. But if you as a customer come there, it's a very unique experience. And I think what separates luxury from other experiences is really tailored to the unique customer. So they get a very unique experience, and it's very, tailored to that person. So it's really about the experience, less about the product, although the product is in the core. But it's really about experiencing, the essence of the brand there.
Yeah, I feel like everybody could use a little bit more luxury in their life right now. And maybe not to this, to this level, but to be spoken to as a customer, and nowadays I think also as an employee, in terms that resonate with who you are as a person, intimate, to be spoken to at that level, I think is something that really is attractive about bringing some of the ideas of luxury clientele service into more of the mainstream. And I would love, with the technology that we have available to us nowadays, I'd love to see more brands speak to me as
personally level,
right?
Direct.
I mean, clearly it's working for you. You just had the best year ever. And, you continue to create these experiences that deeply connect your customers with your brand. I think we can all take a little bit of inspiration from that in the work that we do.
But this is also what I think it was McKinsey who said that authenticity is the most important consideration for developing luxury and lifestyle. So they say I think it's also everywhere. You can fake it or you can try, but you won't be successful, right? So and also not happy probably. But for brands, it's even more important to not broaden too much and to lose your true DNA. And this is also what we're doing in my area, where we really work with the essence of the brand, then looking in which segment we can bring the partner and which kind of category we can add, but then always with the design and with the elements we have to form really unique experiences and even unique pieces. Look, our cars, we have a lot of one-offs, so made to measure.
Right.
This is also a trend, which goes also into that personal wishes, personal taste, personal desires of the clients. And we try to adapt this also to lifestyle. So we have also unique pieces which we offer with it. You can even have the same color coding as your car. So there's a lot which you can let's say transfer from true luxury to how we work. But coming back to the customers, I think this is where's the difference to just buying a product. A Bugatti is not a product. It's really also an investment, but per se, it's buying into that dream. And you'll be part of a big club, not a big club, but a very small club. But whereas the big dream having a small club, and there are not too many owners in the world. So basically, it's more about the personal experience, exclusivity, and privacy. So they know that they're treated with the utmost respect. And they can expect that nothing leaks in a way. This is also something of the ultra high net worth individuals. The sales sides work with the car sides, and they have really good contacts with the customers. So this is what they appreciate. It's more about being than the product. Being part of that exclusive club as well.
Yeah, and it makes me think about something you and I have talked about as we have gotten to know each other since September. We talk about making something bigger, like sort of not just thinking about, I hear you talk about the brand and the essence of the brand and the clarity that you have about what it is that you do and how to, expand that feeling, that emotion beyond just, the definition of what it is. How does that show up in the work that you do day to day? Like how do you see the sort of the grandeur, the bigness, if you will, of what you're trying to create in your day to day work?
I think, this comes back to leadership, right? Also self-leadership in a way. I think clarity is the key essence of leadership and also for yourself, especially also self-leadership. If we talk about women careers and all this, I think clarity where you want to go, or even in a daily, as you say, in a daily business, that you look where you want to go and don't get distracted, then you get things done. And also you can measure the goal where you're at, if you have reached it or not. So I think for careers, also clarity is super important, especially for women also, because I think we have so many things in our heads and we do so many things across, like backwards, forwards, we have everything. But I think in terms of career, you need to even tasks, projects, you need to have very much clarity. Because also I think statistically, that if you know where you want to go, it brings a lot of energy. So this energy also goes into focus. And if you focus, it also automatically creates that you have the drive to do. And this commits also, I think, to the project or to anything. Clarity is power.
Yes. Oh, that's a line. Clarity is power. I want to invite our audience to jump in and ask some questions. We've got a little bit of a delay. So audience, hello. Let us know if you have any questions for Wiebke, and we'll have Holly, who's our executive producer backstage, bring questions forward, and I will get to all your questions. So you're invited to contribute to this conversation. this self-management, this, self-leadership. This is a topic that we definitely, started to talk about in September, in the context of loving yourself, self-love, self-management, and like how that shows up in our work and in our career. How do you personally, how has that manifested itself in your career, and how you've managed and how you've grown and how you found yourself in a leadership position that, many of us in this audience, aspire potentially to someday be?
Well, I think we talked about it. I sometimes refer to the princess syndrome, that I think, which is
hoping you would bring it up.
So I think self-love is also to be proactive and to ask for what you think is correct in the sense of work. But I mean, I think in careers in general, we women tend to not take the next level or the next jump because we think we don't have enough knowledge. There's someone else who is more perhaps outgoing or fits the role better. And actually, over the weekend, I did a seminar where Jack Canfield, who's the writer of, I don't know if you know him, probably Chicken Soup of the Soul, they sold incredible 500 million. He was speaking there, and he said,
"Oh wow!"
Studies of elite universities, it was Stanford and Howard, they found that success is just for 9% built on aptitude, and I think it was 92% or then 91% on attitude. And I think attitude, as he's described, is composed by the combination of body and mind. So if your mind is not going in line where you want to go, if you're not clear where you want to go, and this comes back to clarity, then you don't have the attitude. And without that, you don't get it. So it's a little bit that coming back to the point of self-love and feeling worthy of that, or feeling worthy of more, not that, anything, worthy of more, gives you also the drive, the power, and then the attitude to reach that goal. And I think this goes back also to Lean In, the book where she said, like, women need way more, and they think they need way more knowledge, know-how, whatever degree to get something. Perhaps you need to get it, but then advancing, if you're in the system, let's say in the company or even before, you don't need so much. You just need to be convinced that you can do it, And this is also self-love, self-acceptance, self-strength, and being worthy. And it seems to be an essential, which is proven by statistics. I love numbers, so I thought that's.
I love that about you. You always have a fact, to drop. I love that about.
Yeah, they at least give a direction. They can also be not true, but at least they give a direction. And here I thought it was surprising. And also I think I read it somewhere else. You need to write down your goals. So if you want to be clarity, comes down to write it down. And there was this professor, I think he was from Yale. He said people write down their goals earn over lifetime 9 times more than people who don't write down their goals. So, wow. And we women, I think we're super good in to-do lists and having everything very organized. But I think of our careers, we sometimes have a bit of lack clarity or the next step, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years. So I think this is something where like self-reflection and self-love comes also in. Put yourself, then sometimes also your career also first. It takes so much time of our lives.
Yeah, no doubt. I find that self-awareness and like knowing what my strengths are and knowing like what really gets me going helps me be a better leader, to just know that I'm going to show up as probably the most positive person in the gang.
You're a very positive person, always smiling.
To have that awareness and for me to know, okay, this is going to be a tough conversation. Yes. Let me temper the positivity so that I don't come across as, being out of whack, if you will, with the tone or, oh, this is a party, we're going to turn it up or we're going to get everybody organized. I think like knowing what are the things that make us really special.
Yes.
Yeah, it helps us develop a career that, instead of being of looking everywhere for the role that might be good for us, for us to go forward in our careers with our strengths in mind, and knowing that we have an ability to have a bigger impact if we're working in our area of strength.
But also I think for careers, it's sometimes good to do exactly the things which are a little bit complicated, or where you have to jump over a hurdle, or which don't feel right, because that's where you learn, right? We always learn outside the comfort zone. So I think I agree on, you have to see what you like, because then you have also passion, and then you have the strengths. It's a combination. I think then you're really good. But nevertheless, I think we should be more, a career is like 3 triathlons, right? So you have multiple disciplines. It's very, very long. It's never the sprint. So
right.
You need to be versatile, and don't get me, it's not about just asking, don't get me wrong. I think a career is a lot about endurance and being resilient and all that. It's hard work. It's careers are not by accident. They're not occasionally, but nevertheless, I think I think it's good to look sideways and add something more to your strengths, because perhaps there are some you don't know, and you need to be versatile. In these days, everything is so connected. You can't be, we are very specialized, but on the other hand, we're very, very broad in the skill set, from negotiation to market analytics to doing products, pricing, all that. So, but in the end, yes, I think you need to add a lot of knowledge as well. Don't get me wrong here. To strengthen the strengths as well, but also to if you have some blind spots, to work on these as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. We've got a couple questions from the audience that I'll pull up for you, but sure. I do want to go back to the princess syndrome. So yes, let's put a pin in that for a second, and I'll read a question. What should companies be doing to make women feel like they can be themselves and apply for career progression opportunities? What should companies be doing?
Well, Bugatti Rimac, and I just joined. I actually asked HR where we are with kind of the balance, the gender equality, and yes, there are still more men, but the male component is larger for sure. In automotive, I think that's not so easy to overcome also, but it's a very diverse company. There, for example, Bugatti Rimac has 37 nationalities working for them. Wow. And I think also Marta, as CEO, he's from the mindset, he's very for equality. So I think there is this idea in the concept coming top down, and I think this is also essential for companies, right? It's difficult if there is this mindset and you have a lot of programs, and then it will never work out, right, if the head is not in that direction.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I want to challenge that question a little bit. Not to be contrarian, but just to be provocative. I think that we have expectations about our companies, that our companies are going to give us something, like, what can my company do too? And that puts us in a position of kind of waiting, right? We're waiting for something to happen. We're waiting for a leader. We're waiting. And I feel like if we look at that question and that proposition just through a different lens, and we think about, like, what can we be doing as employees, as women, men, groups, to find the career progression that we want? Like, what can we bring to work? What can we prepare? What can we, I'll give you an example. For me, when I was at IBM, I knew that I wanted to get promoted. I knew that I was capable of being at the next level. And I did not expect for my boss to come to me and say, Caroline, you're ready. Now's the time. I just knew that I needed to be fully prepared with all of the things that were necessary to make it to the next level. And I sort of took it under, my responsibility to go to my boss and say, oh, hey, look, these are the requirements, and then some. And then I also brought a brand new so what our companies,
Yes.
Yeah, I think our leaders are supportive of us in these initiatives. I think they may not know what to do just yet in the context of everything going on, but we have to bring ourselves to what we want to see in our careers.
Absolutely. And I think this is also a little bit coming back to the princess syndrome. So it's you wait. I mean, you do a great job. I mean, as
everybody,
you do that, and you wait that you get the promotion, or you wait for recognition. You wait for being saved or told what you're going to do or what's your next step. And I think you're totally right. It's about proactivity and having, again, a plan. I think, you knew what you wanted, and you knew also exactly the steps going there. And this is about being proactive. I think and also if you're not promoted or you don't get the job, then you know that it's probably not worth the time waiting, because if you have all the credentials, then you need to look perhaps sideways, or then you need to look for alternatives. But it's exactly putting your goal. You knew where you wanted to go, and if that doesn't happen, you might happen once because there is a restructuring or so, then you wait, okay, which I think always happens as well. But then you need to notice and put your timing a little bit, I don't know, in the future. But then you need to know that if it happens a second time, that you take consequences also, or decide if for personal reasons. And I think I think we should consider there are also things in life where it's probably not the right time to make the next move, or you don't have the energy, then you wait. But in general, if you want to progress, then you need to notice that there's kind of there's a gap.
Yeah, I think this sort of, it looks like it's resonating, this topic, with the audience, that we are, we're sort of waiting for something to happen. And I'm in my work now, I see a lot of waiting. We're waiting for a new leader. We're waiting for somebody to tell us what we should do. We're waiting for, we're waiting to understand.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, the world is moving as fast as it possibly can right now. The technology that's coming to us is making everything move faster. So there's just such a discrepancy between the waiting and the anticipation that we have to get something done, what we see, and in our careers. So yeah, I think the lesson, or I guess the message, is to not wait, is to go for it, is to think big, and is to have a plan, and to understand, what are the objectives of my career. And if I can't get it done here, to your point, if I can't get it done here, it's okay to go look somewhere else.
Yes, it's priorities, right? So what you want. And also, I think if you get opportunities to jump somewhere else, in that scenario where you get something in another industry or in another city, we shouldn't wait then, but we should take the opportunity also. So that's how I arrived in automotive. So I was in luxury, and I got the offer to go to Italy to do brand management for Ferrari, where I said, what shall I do in Italy, in Maranello? So, why? And it was the best decision ever, So, and I think also a career takes always two. So it's yourself, so that you think you're worthy and you know where you want to go, and one person who believes in you, So I think you need that one person. It might be a side step, or even a side industry, but I think that's what you need to do.
What kind of goals do you have? What kind of, what are you looking forward to achieving in the near future, and, and what you see in your career?
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, being with Bugatti, for sure, I have the company objectives. So I really want to grow that brand further. And at the moment, I mean, it's a fantastic moment, because we're just about launching a new car. So after the Bugatti Chiron, we're launching in actually 1 month's time the new car, which is a super exciting period to be in, because we have the new car coming, and it will just create new opportunities. So this is something at the side, because it's the same position. And you mentioned that before. I do a lot on the side for self-development, self-learning, and develop myself more. And as a next step, yes, I mean, I'm from my working, I'm very entrepreneurial. So I have my own we have our little company. So it's really what I enjoy. So I don't know what the future will bring now, but for sure I stay Bugatti for the moment, and continue the great journey there.
I love when your own personal goals, this is a great example, by the way, like when your own personal goals bring you to a job where you can actually do that.
Yes.
You know, and that's the connection.
Totally.
That's the integration, if you will. When you say, I want to grow this brand and I want to, like, I'm here and this is what I came to do. And I want to grow, I want to use all the plans that we have to bring this brand to the next level, to deepen the connection with customers. Like, that's the ultimate alignment to me.
Yes, and this is why it's make it so enjoyable also, and it's very gratifying, you know, in that sense, because it really connects a lot of elements I enjoy, and it took also a long time. So I started on working the strategy and the vision is 7 years ago. So now you see it, you know, it's also something where you see now, or let's say the last 6 years, we grew by, I don't know, 230%. So it is like just growing, and it's also fun to see that, because you build it up from very low level.
Yeah.
And now you see the fruits, let's say. And this is really, I think, build up quite a good business model here. You know, it's also fun to see that it works. And this is really, this is what I enjoy, and the team as well. So I have a great team.
Yes, the team for sure.
Don't do it alone.
No. But like the amount of success that you're talking about, like 230%, like who doesn't want those kinds of numbers nowadays? Like, this is just insane. This is great. But this didn't happen overnight. None of this happens overnight. I feel like one of the things that I see in the women that I mentor and that I work with, especially in this industry, is like, we have, you know, we're kind of waiting a little bit, but we're a little bit impatient too. We have like this sort of I know that I can do this job. I know that I can do more. I know what's the right balance between going for a sustainable career that's long and that's interesting, and, you know, sort of like that rapid switch that we're just like waiting. We want something to happen. Like, how did that play out in your career? Because it's the
ambition is always good. I think ambition is good, and having dare to grow, I think that's great, but it takes time. And I think also companies, and I experience this now myself, it takes really sometimes longer than even they want, or intended. So it's something you can just manage by having your path clear, I think, and to see what you want to do, but getting all the assets you need, as you also mentioned. And I think you need to be a little bit patient. But I think what can help is to have with HR or superior a plan. You know, if they say it's not possible in that moment, that you say, okay, but let's make a plan together with someone, together with your team lead, together with HR, and to discuss this. I think you need to bring it out so that it's also transparent for others, because we women assume also others know often.
right.
Men speak about it and say, I want 10% more, 20% more, or whatever, and I want that job in 3 years. What shall I do? I think we need to address it very clearly. And for yourself, you just need to be, I think it's great if the woman knows what she wants. I think that's fantastic.
Yes,
you need absolutely. To be little patient and getting there. Then and if there is an opportunity at the site or somewhere else in another department coming up, then take it.
Yeah. There's something you said about I can't remember exactly the words, but I heard, be clear about what you want.
Yes.
You know, be specific about what you want. And for me, it kind of shows up in the storytelling, you know, and how we tell our story, and how.
Absolutely.
Right. So I know I find that, you know, one of the most important things that we have to master as we, you know, grow our career is our own story, you know, our introduction, for example, or our responsibilities so that we own the narrative, if you will, or at least put out in the world the words that we want to see associated with us, and don't necessarily leave it up to the audience to define, what is Caroline good at? Like, I love being the one that talks about what I do. And I encourage everybody to have that, first bit, that narrative, like we did in the beginning, even of this call,
Yes, true.
Yeah.
But I think also self-talk. I mean, I think also studies show that self-talk is kind of getting concrete in the real world. I think self-talk is manifesting in a way. So if you talk very badly to yourself, that doesn't help really much.
Oh my gosh.
But this is also, I mean, I love studies. So there was also, I just heard it the other day about tennis players. The top 5 talk differently to themselves than the rest of the world. The top 5 tennis players, it's when they lose a set or a ball, they say to themselves, the next ball will be better. I will win the next set. It's how they pick them up by themselves. It's how you fail. How quickly you pick yourself up after you failed constitutes your success. So in that sense, be aware what you're thinking or saying to yourself, because this is how you're acting.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that's also what leaders are. I mean, good leaders and great leaders, they have a very positive self-talk, I think.
Yeah, it blows my mind how the power of positive thinking, the power
Absolutely.
of
it even goes into your cells, right? They just found out that positive thinking increases your telomeres again. So it goes into your DNA. It heals. I know there are so many studies about this. So I think positivity and mindset, I mean, your body, I mean, I don't want to go that way, but I mean, it's positive thinking, and positivity is very important for many things in life.
Yeah. So maybe for our audience to think about like one positive statement about ourselves, about each of us, to carry forward into the world from this discussion. I see it in some of the, the yoga type work that I do. I see it in the corporate sense. And, for myself, I see that, when I have a positive manifestation about myself in the morning, and sometimes it's just like, damn girl, you look good today, or whatever, right? Like it just, it really, really helps.
Yes.
Yeah. And there's enough haters out there that we kind of have to protect ourselves and, show up in authenticity with who we are. It's totally good to be you.
Yes. And even if you manifest real things, when you say, I want to achieve today this, I want to do, I don't know, so many steps, or I want today finish the presentation, or today I want to finish whatever I wanted to accomplish for some time now. Or if you say to yourself, like, I'm freaking magnificent or whatever, I can do it, or simple things.
Absolutely. I can do it. That's a good one. I can do it. Absolutely.
Or I don't know, it's just like small things sometimes where something, I mean, didn't work out too well, that you pick yourself up again quickly.
Yeah, we do have one more question from the audience, and you're invited. We have a few more minutes. Does Bugatti have a D&I culture? Diversity and inclusion culture.
Well, I think we have. It's not, I mean, a culture in that sense. I think we are a very international brand, so very, very open and very inviting. And if you talk about something in writing, I'm not sure, because I just joined. So please excuse here. I am not aware that there is kind of a code, or let's say, kind of a, how do you say, like something in writing. I don't know, I'm very new to, let's say, Bugatti Remats, but I can just say that the culture is very, very open and very open mindset. It's not this kind of, authority driven mindset at all, because Matti Rimac sees himself, he's a great human being. He's young. He's gives a lot of freedom also, especially to my role as well. I have quite a big scope of, let's say, entrepreneurial freedom within the company kind of scopes for sure. But in general, I think it's not about putting yourself in a big frame. Like really written, I have to pass. I don't know now, but I think we have just a new HR director. And she's
nice.
great. And she's, I'm sure something like this we will have like kind of composed by some time.
Yeah, there's a lot of culture work going on, and I see it in a lot of my clients right now. In fact, it's very interesting what's happening. For me personally, it's, you know, a career in customer experience and, you know, MarTech stack and, you know, delivering point-to-point experiences to, you know, masses of customers, not so intimate as your brand.
Yes.
But I'm seeing that a lot of those practices that have been around in customer experience for, you know, 20, 30 years now are rapidly becoming principles for culture innovation and internal activities where employee experience and, you know, how do we as people who contribute to the brand that we work for, how do we contribute and how do we, you know, how do we feel about it? There's a lot of culture development work going on, and I'm super excited to see it. I imagine that in a brand like, you know, luxury brand that has heritage, right? A lot of heritage. There's an implied and a beautiful French, you know, one nonetheless. I imagine that there's a built-in culture, right? Like there's just a way, you just feel it. It probably doesn't need to be written. It's just understood, right?
It is also, yeah. And this is the culture itself. It's lived. It's very, very, very true to the brand and very, very also, yes, you say cultural rich in that sense.
Right.
But I mean, the brand is now nearly 115 years old, and it also comes from Ettore Bugatti, our founder, who himself, he had a lot of culture and he was very, very, extrovert in his way. So he has this beautiful chateau, there's an orangerie, and there's the atelier where the cars are built. So everything also serves this to bring in really the beauty of the brand together in that location in Molsheim also. And I mean, many of the colleagues are also French or is international, but for sure, the culture of Frenchness is cultivated as well. And yes, there is this kind of uniqueness of the brand is always elaborated also in the beautiful designs. And Ettore and his son John, they created these pieces which are at that time are really outstanding, unique pieces of cars as well. And this kind of being a little bit eccentric is also still part of the culture of the brand. Doing something which is a little bit unique, outside the norm, a little bit different, and always excelling what's the status quo in the new car, in being really playing with the aesthetics of the brand and a lot of the design. And I think this point of aesthetics and culture and all this merges also into the behavior of the people and also welcoming the customer and having a certain way of talking to the people. And this all comes together. It's a little bit more subtle, like luxury is. I mean, we're away from this loud luxury, although the car is prestigious and unique, but it's also bringing in a lot of culture, and this is really special about the brand. And it's also reflected in the employees. They have a lot of pride working there.
Yeah, I bet. Now I really want to come visit you.
Yes.
Come spend some time with the French people. Bonjour. So we only have a few minutes. I'm going to go a little bit over because it's such a good conversation. To wrap up, you know, taking all of the topics, there's so much to talk about when we talk about diversity and when we talk about authenticity. And, you know, I love how clarity has come up as a huge theme. Like, what's one piece of advice, like to wrap it all up? What do you want to leave us with in advice or recommendations? Or
I think, well, there are two. I think dare to dream big in terms of career, you know, go one step further, and also probably dare to ask or dare to speak it out, because as we notice, I think women are not so direct often in their planning. I think it's for any young woman, but also for achievers. I think we sometimes think, oh, we can be happy where we are. I think it's enough, and why not? But I think especially leaders, and this comes back to the princess systematic, that I think leaders they take the leap, they jump, and that's why I think in order to grow, and leaders want to grow, you need to go further, because otherwise you go backwards. If you don't go forwards, you go backwards, right? So this is don't stay where you are.
Dare to grow is what I'm hearing. Dare to speak your mind. Be daring. I love this word. I love this word for us.
And in many facets, it's not just the next step, but I think you know yourself if you grow in a task or in that week and that month. Also reflect on what you learned and what you did good, and also where you want to become better. I think leaders grow. They grow by nature. That's why leaders are innovators in companies, and that's why they are added value to each company, because they push the boundaries. And everyone has to be his own leadership,
Yeah. I can't think of any reason why something fabulous and big and our dreams wouldn't come true. Like, I can't think of any reason why that couldn't happen to me or to you or to anyone here.
Yes, I wish that for anyone.
Yeah. So dare to dream. Thank you so much, Wiebke. It was just a pleasure to see you again.
Thanks for inviting me.
Last time. Yes.
Let's continue.
Yeah. And thank you, Women Automotive Network, for another.
Yes, thank you everyone for listening. I hope that a little bits to take away. And thank you very much for listening. Thanks, Caroline.
Thank you. We'll see you next time.
Yes. Bye.
Ciao.